So, War Thunder Naval's biggest problem, at least in my opinion, is its abundance of bot accounts. And I don't mean this as the ones that the devs have added in to make up for the lack of players in some matches or to just really fill out the rosters. Usually those are in under-tiered ships. They're at the bottom of the list with very generic names. They're easy to pick out because they're in under-tiered ships, and they don't have any effect on the battle typically. The ones that I have a problem with are the player created ones that are just there to farm silver lions. These are probably some of the worst things to experience in the game if you get targeted by one, just because there's not a lot you can do other than dodging and weaving to prevent them from shooting at you and to get them to stop. So, how do you recognize one? Well, typically they're all in similar squadrons. It's usually the same squadrons that are doing this. I don't want to name names just because I'm not sure what YouTube's policy is on that. Sometimes they get a little bit upset with that stuff. But typically they're very easy to pick out. A lot of times the actual player name is full of Chinese characters or just has a very generic name. But like I said, usually the squadrons are really easy to pick them out. The other way to look at them is just hover over their name in the scorecard. Usually they'll only have one ship. It'll be like a 5.7 or a 6.0 premium ship bought with golden eagles. So it'll be the USS Helena, it'll be the Belfast, it'll be the, and I'm gonna butcher the name here, Zelensnikov, the Russian 6.0 cruiser. But typically it's those three. They'll go about 25 feet out of spawn, they'll park their ship, and they'll just target the closest spotted ship. And it doesn't matter if it's the closest in 3 minutes from then because the player turned away, or if another ship got in front of them. They're going to continue to target that one player until they have completely disappeared from the map, or at least their line of vision, or sunk, or the bot got sunk. And it is super annoying to deal with if you're just trying to push for a spawn. Most of the problem is if you have an under-tiered ship, like let's say in Omaha encountered one of these on an enemy team, and all you wanted to do in your Omaha was push for the cap so that you can go get some points from that. You can maybe shoot some on-par cruisers and destroyers, and you just wanted to have a grand old time brawling it out in the middle of the map with your cruiser that you know you can't really touch these larger ships with, at least not consistently. Well, now you have a ship over 10 kilometers away, shelling you non-stop, and really there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you can leave the area, try to get behind an island, pop a smoke screen if you have one. You can try to shell it back, but you're not going to have much success there because you're in a smaller ship. It's really just a bad experience for these people coming up through the ranks to encounter. I mean, you could have a larger ship on your team sink them, but that bot's just going to queue into the next game. It doesn't care. So it's really not a great experience for new players, and I think it's probably one of the worst things about War Thunder Naval currently. You know, I don't really have a good solution for how we deal with them either. War Thunder's made an attempt recently. They have a dedicated selection in their reporting system just for bots. If you right click them in a game, you still have to type in why you're reporting them, which I think is kind of dumb because it's a bot, come on. And really I don't think this reporting system catches them fast enough because these bots are just spamming games. When the reporting system is doing nothing for 2 or 3 days in a row, that's a lot of people's games that those bots have ruined. So I'm not really sure what War Thunder can do to stem this because a lot of it is how War Thunder Naval works currently. It heavily rewards your damage and it heavily rewards sinking ships. And it really pays out in Silver Lions, which is exactly what these bots are farming for. I mean, they might be doing Squadron EXP too, I'm not entirely sure, but really it's the Silver Lions that I think they're going for. And if you tried to reduce the income from all these ships, well, you're gonna bother the normal players because suddenly they can't afford their repairs and they can't afford to upgrade their ships or buy new ones and stuff like that. So I'm not entirely sure what else they could do about it other than just get a lot more aggressive against these bot accounts, because they are very prolific. You will see at least one or two every game. I think the game that I'm going to have playing in the background actually didn't have one in it, at least as far as I could tell, which was impressive to me. You know, every once in a while you get one of those, but a lot of times they're just there. They're in the back of the enemy team, shelling the ship that it locked onto first until that ship disappears from its radar. And it's just constant and annoying, and even decent players it's still annoying for, because now you're having to bob and weave when you shouldn't have been. You're having to constantly repair damage on your ship, and now instead of the target that you wanted to deal with, you have to deal with this bot account that's sitting still way in the back of the map. Which, sure, it's a sitting duck as a target, but you still have to waste precious time reloading, firing, reloading, firing, and attempting to hit different parts of the ship to sink it, while the whole time this bot program's just continuing to shell you, maybe pressing its repair button. I think they do that on occasion, but it's really, really annoying to deal with, even, you know, probably for battleship players, I'd imagine. So I'm not entirely sure what to do about these other than, you know, I try to sink them on sight, but that doesn't really affect them too much. It's not a player that you can phase out mentally and make them just leave the game, you know, like the old Call of Duty lobby type deals. But I don't know, if you guys have any ideas, let me know. I'd be curious to see. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a good time out there and sailing well. Enjoy it out there, guys. See ya.